The lad was cold and white. Jin-Ho wiped sweat from his forehead as he looked at the man floating in a large glass tank. The man's skin had a slight blue tint. His muscles were larger than any normal human's. This was not just a man anymore. This was humanity's last hope. Status report, Jin-Ho said to his team. All vital signs stable. Brain activity normal. Vora DNA integration at 98%, said Kang, his assistant. He's ready, Dr. Kim. Jin-Ho nodded, but didn't feel happy. After 10 years of war with the Vora aliens, Earth was losing badly. Their ships were better. Their weapons were stronger. Their soldiers were faster. Humans needed an edge, and Jin-Ho had created it in this lab. Project Cerberus, they called it. Taking DNA from captured Vora soldiers and mixing it with the best human soldiers to make something new. Something stronger. The military called them super soldiers. Everyone else called them monsters. Begin wake-up process, Jin-Ho ordered. The clear liquid in the tank began to drain. The man's eyes fluttered. His fingers twitched. As the last of the liquid emptied, he opened his eyes fully. They were dark with flecks of gold, a sign of the Vora DNA. Tak, can you hear me? Jin-Ho asked, using the code name they had given this soldier. The man looked at Jin-Ho. He blinked slowly, then nodded. Good. Do you know who you are? I am Tak, first unit of Project Cerberus, enhanced combat specialist, he said. His voice was deep but smooth. Jin-Ho felt a chill. The man remembered everything from his training sessions while unconscious. The memory uploads had worked perfectly. The lab door slid open. General Lee walked in with 4 armed guards. He smiled when he saw Tak standing there. Excellent work, Dr. Kim. Is he ready for combat? Jin-Ho hesitated. His body is ready, sir, but I recommend more tests. We don't fully understand how the Vora DNA might affect his mind over time. General Lee frowned. We don't have time, Doctor. The Vora have taken 3 more colonies this month. They'll reach Earth in less than a year if we don't stop them. I understand the urgency, sir, but nothing. General Lee cut him off. The Council has approved immediate deployment. Tak and the other 5 units will ship out to Creo's moon tomorrow. Jin-Ho's stomach dropped. 5. You woke the others without telling me. We needed to speed things up. Your work is done here, Doctor. The military will take it from here. Jin-Ho looked at Tak, who stood perfectly still, listening to everything. There was something in his eyes, a spark of intelligence that seemed more than what they had programmed. At least let me monitor them in the field, Jin-Ho said. There could be side effects we haven't predicted. General Lee considered this. Fine. You can set up a remote monitoring station at the Creo's base, but stay out of the way of military operations. After the general left, Jin-Ho approached Tak, who was now being fitted with specialized armor by the lab technicians. Do you understand what's happening, Tak? You're going to fight the Vora. Tak nodded. I was made for this purpose. Yes, but Jin-Ho lowered his voice. Part of you is Vora now. Does that feel strange to you? Tak's expression didn't change. I feel strong. I feel ready. But for just a moment, Jin-Ho thought he saw confusion cross Tak's face, a question forming that his programmed mind couldn't quite grasp. As Jin-Ho watched his creation prepare for war, he couldn't shake a feeling of dread. They had made these soldiers to save humanity. But in doing so, had they given up something that made them human in the first place? Tak turned and caught Jin-Ho staring. The super soldier's head tilted slightly, a surprisingly human gesture of curiosity. Will I still be me when I kill them? Tak asked quietly. Jin-Ho had no answer. Hannah Park stood at the window of her father's office, looking at the busy military base below. Ships were coming and going. Soldiers were running drills. Everyone was preparing for war. You can't go to Creo's moon, her father said firmly. General Park was a tall man with gray hair and a stern face. It's too dangerous. Hana turned to face him. I'm not asking permission, Father. I'm telling you where I will be working next month. The front lines are no place for. For what? A woman? A civilian? Hana crossed her arms. I am the best interpreter we have. I understand Vora language patterns better than anyone. General Park sighed. He knew his daughter was right. Few humans could make sense of the complex sounds and patterns the Vora used to communicate. Hana had a gift for it. This isn't about your skills, he said more softly. Creo's moon is where we're sending our most dangerous weapons, things that should not exist. Hana raised an eyebrow. You mean the Cerberus soldiers, the ones with Vora DNA? The general's eyes widened. How do you know about that? That's classified. People talk, Hana said simply. Is it true? Did we really make human Vora hybrids? General Park looked tired suddenly. It was the only option left. The Vora are too strong for us. Hana walked to her father's desk and picked up a photo. It showed her as a child with both her parents, before her mother died in the first Vora attack on Earth's colonies. Mom always said understanding is more powerful than weapons, Hana said quietly. If these soldiers are part Vora, maybe they can help us understand why the Vora fight us. Maybe there's another way to end this war. The Council wants victory, not understanding, her father replied. Then the Council is short-sighted. Hana put down the photo. I'm going to Creo's next week. I've already accepted the position. General Park knew that look. She was just like her mother, stubborn and brave. He nodded slowly. I'll arrange for extra security for you there. I don't need. This is not negotiable, he cut her off. You go with protection, or you don't go. Hana smiled. She had won the important battle. Fine. 1 week later, Hana stepped off the transport ship onto Creo's moon. The air was thin but breathable. The base was larger than she expected, built into the side of a mountain. A young officer met her at the landing pad. Miss Park, I'm Lieutenant Da. Welcome to Creo's forward base. Hana nodded. Thank you. When can I start reviewing the Vora communications? Tomorrow. Today, you need to get settled and review safety protocols. Lieutenant Da looked nervous. You should know that this base houses special units. The Cerberus soldiers, Hana said. Lieutenant Da lowered his voice. We call them the monsters. Stay away from their section of the base. They're not like us anymore. Hana frowned. They're still human. Partly. But they have Vora in them now. The lieutenant shuddered. The things I've seen them do in battle. Just stay away from them, especially the one called Tak. Why him specifically? He's the first one they made, the strongest. The others follow him like he's their leader, even though that wasn't in their programming. Lieutenant Da started walking toward the base entrance. Some say he's evolving beyond what the scientists intended. Hana followed, suddenly more curious than afraid. If these soldiers were part Vora, they might be the key to understanding the enemy. And if understanding led to peace, where are they kept? She asked. Lieutenant Da pointed to a heavily guarded section of the base. East Wing. Restricted access. And trust me, Miss Park, you don't want access. Hana said nothing, but in her mind, she was already planning how to meet these so-called monsters, especially the one named Tak. Blood dripped from Tak's hands as he walked through the base. Regular soldiers moved out of his way, their eyes full of fear. He was used to this. 3 weeks on Creo's moon, and 3 successful missions against Vora outposts. His team of enhanced soldiers had killed many enemies. They were doing what they were made to do. But something felt wrong. Another victory for the monsters, a soldier whispered as Tak passed by. Tak pretended not to hear. His enhanced ears could pick up conversations from far away. He heard what they called his kind when they thought he couldn't hear. Monster. Freak. Abomination. He reached the medical bay and stopped at the door. The room was full of wounded soldiers from the battle. Doctors and nurses rushed around, helping the injured. Tak had been ordered to get his arm checked. A Vora blade had cut him deeply, but it was already healing. His Vora DNA made him heal fast. He stepped inside, and the room went quiet. People stared at him, then quickly looked away. "I need medical check," Tak said. His speech was still simple. The scientists had focused more on fighting skills than talking skills. No one moved to help him. Then a voice came from the back of the room. "I can help you. Come this way." A young woman with short black hair waved him over. She wore a civilian uniform with a translator badge. Tak walked to her, aware of all the eyes watching him. "Sit here," she said, pointing to a chair. "I'm Hannah Park. I usually work with languages, but I help in medical when it's busy." Tak sat down. "I am Tak. I know who you are," Hannah said. She gently took his arm and looked at the cut. "This is healing well already." Tak watched her face closely. There was no fear in her eyes. This was new to him. "You are not afraid," he said. Hannah smiled. "Should I be? Others are. Others don't take time to understand things that are different." She cleaned his wound even though it didn't really need it. "Does it hurt?" Tak thought about this. Pain was something he felt, but was trained to ignore. "Yes, but it doesn't matter." "Of course it matters," Hannah said. "Pain always matters." This idea confused Tak. His commanders told him pain was weakness. He was made to fight through pain. "They say you're part Vora," Hannah said quietly. "What is that like?" No one had ever asked him this before. They gave him orders. They ran tests. They never asked how he felt. "I feel more," Tak said slowly. "More strong. More fast." He paused. "More alone." Hannah looked surprised. "Alone? Don't you have your squad?" "They are like me, but not same. They follow me, but I don't know why." Tak touched his chest. "Something in here feels pulled in two directions." Hannah finished bandaging his arm, though they both knew it would heal by morning. "I study Vora communications," she said. "Their language patterns suggest they're a deeply connected species. Maybe that's what you feel, a connection to them." Tak frowned. "I was made to kill Vora, not connect to them." "Maybe you were made for more than just killing." Hannah stood up. "Your arm will be fine. You can go now." Tak stood but didn't leave. "You talk to me different." "Why?" "Because I see a person, not a weapon," Hannah said simply. Later that night, in his private quarters, Tak thought about Hannah's words. He had been made to be a perfect soldier, a weapon against the Vora. But her eyes had seen something else in him. For the first time since he woke in that lab, Tak wondered if he could be more than what he was made to be. Hannah sat in the small room where she worked with Vora communications. Screens showed strange patterns, and sounds played through speakers. Most people heard only noise, but Hannah could find patterns. "There's something here," she said to herself. "They keep repeating this sound group." She played it again. The sound was like water bubbling mixed with a low hum. She had heard it in many Vora messages lately. The door opened, and Lieutenant Dai walked in. "Ms. Park, General Lee wants an update on your progress," he said. Hannah sighed. "Tell him I'm working on it, but there's a pattern I can't fully understand yet." She played the sound again. "I think it's important." Lieutenant Dai shrugged. "It's just noise to me." "That's the problem. We hear noise, but it's their language." Hannah stood up. "I need help from someone who might understand it better." "What do you mean?" "I want to work with one of the Cerberus soldiers. They have Vora DNA. Maybe they can sense something I can't." Lieutenant Dai's eyes went wide. "That's crazy. Those things are weapons, not translators. They're people with Vora biology," Hannah insisted, "and I think they can help. General Lee will never approve this." "Then I'll ask my father," Hannah said. 2 days later, Hannah waited nervously in her workroom. Her father had agreed to her request, though reluctantly. He told her she could work with one Cerberus soldier for 1 week. The door opened. Tak walked in, followed by 2 armed guards. "You can wait outside," Hannah told the guards. "We have orders to stay with him at all times," one guard said. "And I have orders from General Park to work without interference," Hannah replied firmly. "Outside, please." The guards looked at each other, then stepped out. The door closed. Tak stood still, watching her. "Why am I here?" "I need your help with Vora communications," Hannah said. "You have Vora DNA. I think you might sense things in their language that I can't." Tak seemed confused. "I am made to fight Vora, not understand them. Maybe understanding them will help us end this war faster than fighting." Hannah pointed to a chair. "Please sit." Tak sat down carefully, like he was afraid to break the chair. Hannah played the strange sound pattern. "Do you feel anything when you hear this?" she asked. Tak closed his eyes. His face twitched slightly. "Play again." She played it 3 more times. On the last play, Tak's hand went to his chest. "Feels warm here, like pulling." He opened his eyes. "What is it?" "I don't know yet," Hannah admitted, "but it appears in many Vora messages, often when they talk about Earth or humans." For the next few hours, they worked together. Hannah played different Vora sounds, and Tak described what he felt. Sometimes nothing, sometimes strong feelings. By the end of the day, they had identified 12 sound patterns that caused reactions in Tak. "This is amazing progress," Hannah said, smiling at him. "You've helped me more in 1 day than I've managed in weeks." Tak looked at her smile. Something inside him felt strange. "Good strange. I come back tomorrow?" he asked. "Yes, please." Hannah started organizing her notes. "If that's okay with you." "It is. Nice. To use my mind, not just my strength." Hannah looked up at him. "You're more than just a weapon, Tak. I hope you know that." "Others don't think so." "I'm not others." Hannah stood and walked him to the door. "I see you." Over the next week, they worked together every day. Tak began to speak more clearly. Hannah taught him about language patterns. They discovered that certain Vora sounds made Tak's heart rate increase or his skin warm up. Neither of them said it out loud, but something was growing between them. Something neither expected. Something that would change everything. "Wake up." Hannah shook Tak's shoulder. He had fallen asleep at her desk while listening to Vora messages. Tak opened his eyes quickly. "I was not sleeping. I was." "You were snoring," Hannah said with a small laugh. "Enhanced soldiers do not snore," Tak said, but his mouth turned up slightly at the corners. This was new for him, almost a smile. 3 weeks had passed since they started working together. Tak now spent most days in Hannah's office. The guards no longer waited outside. Even Lieutenant Da had stopped giving Tak fearful looks in the hallway. "I had strange dreams," Tak said, "about Vora." Hannah sat down next to him. "What kind of dreams?" "I saw through their eyes, felt their fear." Tak looked troubled. "They are afraid of humans. Why would they fear us? Their ships are stronger. Their weapons are better." Tak pointed to the sound pattern they had been studying. "This sound. In my dream, it meant danger. A danger only to Vora, not to humans." Hannah's eyes widened. "Play it again. Tell me exactly what you feel." Tak closed his eyes as the sound played. "Heat. Like fire inside. Like my blood is turning to light." Hannah quickly searched her files and pulled up a document. "Radiation," she whispered. "They're talking about radiation." She typed rapidly on her computer, searching through science reports. Here it is. Project Horizon. Earth scientists discovered a radiation type that affects Vora biology, but not humans. "Is it a weapon?" Tak asked. "No, it was a research project. The radiation was found naturally on." Hannah stopped suddenly. "On Creo's moon. Right where we are now." She looked at more files. Her face grew pale. The Vora think we're weaponizing this radiation. That's why they attacked us first. They think we're planning to kill their entire species. Tak sat very still. But we are not. No. At least, I don't think so. Hana kept reading. Wait. This can't be right. She pulled up a classified file about Project Cerberus, the program that created Tak. As she read, her hands began to shake. What is it? Tak asked. The Vora DNA used to create you and the other enhanced soldiers. It was modified using that same radiation. Hana looked at him with sad eyes. They used it to make you stronger, to make you able to fight better. So the Vora are right. Humans are using this radiation as a weapon. Not exactly. But Hana took his hand. Tak, the Vora didn't start this war because they wanted our planets. They attacked because they intercepted information about Project Cerberus. They think we're planning to kill them all with this radiation. The room was tense. Hana stood before the military council, showing her findings on a large screen. 5 generals sat at a long table, including her father, General Park. Dr. Jinho sat in a corner, taking notes. The Vora are fighting because they think we plan to use this radiation as a weapon. Hana explained. If we tell them we have no such plans, we could end this war. General Lee laughed. Why would we do that? We're finally winning. Winning? Hana looked confused. We've lost millions of people, dozens of colonies. But now we have the Cerberus soldiers, General Lee said. They're turning the tide. In fact, he pressed a button, and a new image appeared on the screen. Hana gasped. It showed hundreds of glass tanks, each with a human-like form floating inside. Project Cerberus Phase 2, General Lee announced proudly. We're making 1,000 more enhanced soldiers, a whole army of them. 1,000? Hana looked at her father in shock. You're creating 1,000 more like Tak. General Park wouldn't meet her eyes. It's necessary, Hana. Dr. Jinho spoke up. We don't fully understand the effects of the Vora DNA yet. The first group is already showing signs of independent thinking that wasn't programmed. They're weapons, not people, General Lee said dismissively, and they'll win this war for us. Hana felt sick. But we don't need to keep fighting. The Vora attacked because they misunderstood our intentions. We can explain. Miss Park, General Lee cut her off. Your job is to translate, not make policy. Your work with the enhanced soldier was an experiment that has now ended. Ended. Hana's voice rose. We've made incredible progress. You are reassigned to Earth, effective immediately, General Lee said coldly. A transport leaves tomorrow morning. Hana looked at her father. Dad, please. This is wrong. General Park finally met her eyes. It's for your own safety. Hana, go home. Outside the meeting room, Hana leaned against a wall, fighting tears. She had failed. The war would continue. More would die on both sides. She didn't notice Tak standing in the shadows until he stepped forward. I heard everything, he said quietly. Hana jumped. Tak, you shouldn't be here. Enhanced hearing, he reminded her. I stood outside. His face was serious. They want to make 1,000 more like me. I'm so sorry, Hana whispered. I tried to tell them the truth. Truth doesn't matter to them, Tak said. Only victory. They're sending me back to Earth tomorrow. Tak's eyes flashed with gold. I won't let them separate us. Hana shook her head. You can't stop military orders. I can if we're not here. Tak took her hand. I know where they keep a small scout ship. We could take our evidence directly to the Vora. Hana stared at him. That's crazy. The Vora would kill us. Not if I speak to them first, Tak said. Through my dreams, I've learned more. I can reach their minds, Hana. I think they would listen to me. It's too dangerous. More dangerous than endless war. Tak stepped closer. I was made to be a weapon, but you showed me I could be more. Let me prove it. Hannah thought about it. If they stayed, she would be sent to Earth. Tak would continue killing Bora. 1,000 more like him would be made. The war would drag on. We need help, she said finally. We can't do this alone. I have my squad, Tak said. 5 others like me. They trust me. They will help. Why would they risk everything? Tak touched his chest. Because they feel it too. The connection to the Vora. The wrongness of this war. Hannah made her decision. Tonight then. But we need to gather all our evidence first. As they parted ways to prepare, Tak held Hannah's hand a moment longer than necessary. Neither spoke about the feelings growing between them. There was no time for that now. But in the way his eyes lingered on her face, Hannah saw something that gave her hope. Not just for peace between humans and Vora, but for something she had never expected to find with the enhanced soldier everyone else called a monster. The small scout ship moved quietly through space. Hannah sat at the controls while Tak stood behind her, eyes closed in concentration. His 5 squad members were scattered around the ship, each watching different screens and monitors. Are you sure about this? Hannah asked Tak. We're almost in Vora space. Once we cross the line, there's no going back. Tak opened his eyes. Gold flecks shimmered brightly in them now. I'm sure. I can feel them. Their minds are waiting. 3 days had passed since their escape from Creo's moon. They had taken the scout ship in the night. Tak's squad had helped them get past the guards. Now they were heading toward the main Vora fleet. What if they shoot us down? Asked Mun, one of Tak's squad. His skin had a slight blue tint like Tak's, but his eyes were darker. They won't, Tak said. I've been sending them images through my mind, showing them we come in peace. Can they really understand that? Hannah wondered. Yes, their minds work as one. When one Vora knows something, they all begin to know it. Tak pointed to a large blue planet ahead. There, that's where we need to go. Hannah looked at the planet. It was beautiful, with swirling blue clouds and green oceans. Nothing like what she expected from the fearsome Vora. Their home world, she whispered. No human has ever seen it before. Because they were too busy fighting to look, said Tak. As they approached the planet, 3 large Vora ships appeared. They were shaped like stars with 5 points, each glowing with strange blue light. Hannah froze, her hand hovering over the emergency controls. Don't, Tak said gently. They're just looking at us. A voice came through the ship's speakers, but it wasn't a voice like any human had heard before. It was musical and liquid, like water running over stones. They're speaking to us, Hannah said, amazed. But I can't understand. Tak stepped forward. His body began to glow slightly, the same blue as the Vora ships. He opened his mouth and made similar sounds back. Hannah stared in shock. You can speak their language. Not speak. Feel. Think. Tak turned to her, his eyes now almost fully gold. They want us to follow them down to the planet. Hannah looked at the other enhanced soldiers. They all nodded, their eyes also showing more gold than before. They feel it too, Tak explained. The connection. We're not just human anymore, Hannah. We're a bridge. The scout ship followed the Vora vessels down to the planet's surface. They landed in a wide valley surrounded by tall, crystal-like structures. Outside the ship's window, Hannah could see hundreds of Vora gathering. They were tall and blue-skinned, with 4 arms and large golden eyes. They moved with grace, almost flowing rather than walking. They're beautiful, Hannah whispered. They're scared, Tak corrected. Scared of humans. Scared of the deathlight. He took her hand. Will you help me show them the truth? Hannah squeezed his hand. That's why we came. They stepped out of the ship together. The Vora moved back, murmuring in their liquid language. Tak walked forward slowly, pulling Hannah gently with him. One Vora, taller than the others, approached them. It looked at Tak with curiosity, then at their joined hands with surprise. Tak began to glow brighter. The Vora leader also glowed in response. They seemed to be communicating without words. After several minutes, Tak turned to Hana. "They will listen. Show them our evidence." Hana held up the datapad with all their research. "This contains the truth. The war is based on a misunderstanding. We never planned to use the radiation as a weapon against all Vora." The Vora leader looked at the human woman and the glowing half-human before it. Then it did something no human had ever seen before. It bowed. 6 months had passed since the day on the Vora planet. Hana stood by a large window in the new Peace Center on Earth. Outside, humans walked side by side with Vora visitors. No weapons, no fear, just people learning about each other. "Still hard to believe," said a voice behind her. Hana turned to see her father, General Park. He looked older now, but more at peace. "That we almost destroyed each other over a misunderstanding?" Hana asked. "That you and Tak changed everything," he corrected. "When you disappeared from Creo's moon, I thought I had lost you forever." Hana smiled. "Instead, you gained a whole new species of allies." After that first meeting on the Vora homeworld, things had moved quickly. The Vora leaders had agreed to a ceasefire. They had listened to Hana's evidence and understood through Tak's mind connection that humans had not planned to destroy their species. Talks had begun, at first with only Tak and his squad serving as bridges between the two sides. Later, as trust grew with direct meetings between human and Vora leaders, the door opened and Tak entered the room. He wore formal clothes now, not a military uniform. The gold in his eyes had stabilized. Neither fully human nor fully Vora, but something new and special. "The Vora High Council has arrived for the signing," he announced. General Park nodded. "I'll join the other Earth leaders." He paused at the door. "I'm proud of you, Hana. And you too, Tak." Then he left. Hana and Tak stood alone in the room. Through the window, they could see people gathering in the great hall below where the peace treaty would be signed. "What happens to the other enhanced soldiers?" Hana asked. "The new ones they were making." "Dr. Jinho has stopped the program," Tak said. "Those already made will be given rights as citizens, not weapons. He's helping them adjust." "And your squad?" "They've chosen different paths. Some work as translators between our species. Some explore space together with Vora scientists." Tak moved closer to Hana. "We're not monsters anymore. We're bridges." Hana took his hand. His skin was cooler than a human's, warmer than a Vora's. Perfect to her. "And what about you?" she asked softly. "What does the future hold for Tak, the first bridge between worlds?" Tak smiled. It came easily to him now. "I have been asked to lead the new interspecies relations program. And," he hesitated, "I would like you to help me." "As your assistant," Hana teased. "As my partner." Tak's golden eyes were serious. In all things, Hana felt her heart beat faster. When she had first met Tak in the medical bay, she had seen past the monster to the person inside. Now everyone else could see it too. "I would like that very much," she said, and stood on tiptoe to kiss him. From below came the sound of applause. The peace treaty had been signed. The war that had taken millions of lives was officially over, all because one woman had seen humanity in a being others called a monster, and one soldier created for war had found the capacity for love. Later, as they walked together among the celebrations, a young child pointed at Tak. "Is he a human or a Vora?" the child asked its mother. "He's both," the mother answered. "He helped bring peace." The child looked at Tak with wonder, not fear. "I think he's beautiful." Tak and Hana exchanged a glance. Not long ago, people had whispered monster when he passed. Now, they whispered hero. "Ready to build our new future?" Hana asked. Tak squeezed her hand gently. "As long as we build it together." In the sky above Earth, Human and Vora ships flew side by side. Two species that had once tried to destroy each other now worked to understand each other. And it all began when a monster created for war discovered he was capable of the most human emotion of all, love.